All right, so here is my row of Ponca blackberries. I want to do a video talking about Panka and its sibling Cado, comparing them and just seeing, which one's quote best, because, is there a best? These are super delicious. They're University of Arkansas, probably their best in terms of flavor that they've come out with. I've been picking these about a week, so just first week of June I started to get my first couple, and now they're sort of in full swing. This is 5 plants in this row. I'm gonna say it's about 15-foot long row, so 3 feet to the plant. Too tight. It's actually the middle one died out and I've replaced it, and you can see that little plant coming up. So and these are unpruned. By that I mean when the primal canes come up, a lot of people will top them and have laterals. I just let them go. Big canes, and then I tie them in at the end of the year, and you can see they all have short laterals off those main canes that are probably 8 to 12 feet long. And lots of short laterals, not big long laterals like you'll see later on Cado. And also another thing, I've talked also about how the primal canes kind of come up all over the row, not right by the crown, which is uncommon in blackberries and can be a little frustrating. You can see primal canes coming up now. Here's a couple, and if we look up, of course, the rest of the row is towering above it. So they are just starting to come. There might be a couple here that are a little taller, but they do not come as early in the season as Cado and a lot of others, which is nice because you're not competing with the other fruiting canes. On the other hand, they do get shaded, and I did get some fungus or just some mildew on the lower leaves. It wasn't really any kind of real problem, but I just lost some lower leaves on them towards the end of the season because everything was just so dense in here. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and pick a whole bunch of these. They are delicious, so I'm sure I'll snack along the way, and then we'll go see Cado and compare them. All right, so that is the Panka. We've picked, it's a 6-quart bowl, I think, and almost full. And I'm gonna leave Ziggy here to protect it. Right, Ziggy? What you got? So she's under the Cado, and you can see it's in shade. So this is between my house and my neighbor's house, about 20 feet off my house, and on the north side. So it's close to getting some sun just on the top here, but definitely a different situation than my other one at the community garden. So one of the first things to show you here is, look at this beast grow. All right, now talked about the primal canes coming up all over. So for Ponca, Cado right at the crown. And obviously I let 3 grow on this last time, and there's definitely too many. I'm gonna have to cut some of these back. They come earlier and they're already pushing out the top. There's some weeds in here too, but a few places the primal canes are already over my head for growth for next year's fruit. And Cado has, you can see here, this is one of the main canes. Again, I didn't prune this, I just let them grow. And their possible cane borer, they're so thick that it doesn't seem to slow them down. So that's one advantage versus a thinner stemmed plant. But you'll see these main primal canes were probably 15 feet long. And then here, remember the little laterals on Panka? Well, this is all one, it just keeps going, lateral off that primal cane. And so I just kept weaving them back in, and I apologize to my neighbor because they're on the other side. It's hard to keep them out of his yard. These are just a beast. And Cado also is just a really nice big berry. These are just starting to ripen. Obviously full sun, they'd be ripening earlier, right? But there's no shortage of fruit on this plant. I do have, like I do in a lot of places, very dense plantings. I've got these 3 different American persimmons in here that I hope to grow over the top of these eventually. And so in any comparison, if they're not growing in the same place, you have to consider what that does. So possibly these may not get as sweet. They don't have as much sun for Cado, and each gets as sweet as a variety will get. It certainly hasn't changed the size of these giant berries, which are lovely. And again, here's one of those primal canes. This is 6.5 feet already. And again, popping out. There was 2 before, and there's 4 coming from that one. This one is the same, but you can see that those primal canes there are already as thick as my thumb. So again, a very strong growing plant. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a couple of these, and again, it's really not going to do a big pick on these. They're not fully ripe, or not enough of them are ripe to do it, but it's real close. So like this, a nice one right here. I'll get a few good ones, and we'll do a comparison in taste and texture and everything with Panka. All right, so right now we're looking at Cado on the left and Ponca on the right. And as you'll notice, Cado is a bigger berry. They both are similar color, similar uniformity generally. I don't have a lot of problems of pollination or anything with these. They seem to do quite well. And then if we look at the plants in terms of the production, obviously Cado is producing quite a lot. Now the Panka was already almost half picked out, so you have to think of that. I think the most important thing when you're looking at productivity is to think about how much you're getting per foot of row, because you can always put more plants in, but you're going to sort of max out. So now Cado is a 20-foot row, 4 plants. And so I would never go denser. This is, just a beast. Again, maybe with a more aggressive pruning style, I just like to let them go, and they're producing great. I would say, just looking at it, I'm getting probably close to certainly 1.5 quarts, maybe 2 quarts per foot of row. But now Panka, I have 4 right now. The one is being replaced in a 15-foot row, but it'll be 5 and it'll get a little more production. And right now it's close to 1.5 quarts per foot of row. So Cado looks to be a little more productive, not night and day, just because of the density, the way Panka grows, and Cado just needing more space. So productivity about the same, maybe a little edge to Cado, certainly fruit size, Cado, and now let's go ahead and eat a couple. First 2 Panka. Those are so good. They are by far the best eastern blackberries I've grown or had. Way better than any of the ones that they currently offer at the farmers markets around here. And they're probably growing some of the older varieties. And now let's grab a couple of these Cado. Not quite as sweet, but the bigger berry size, actually, it's a juicier berry. Less core maybe. So it's a different eating experience. Just pure flavor, Panka wins. Eating experience, it's kind of a tie. I mean, maybe Panka, but still, Cado is a great berry, and sort of thing where if you just had one or the other, you'd be very happy. So probably think about the space you have, and and their ripening time's about the same window, a little different, not much. Early enough to avoid the spotted winged Drosophila, which is so important around here. They come later and they'll destroy your fruit. So you want to grow an early ripening variety. But overall, I'd say both are winners. Really happy to have both. And again, just to emphasize that really it's growing in a different space. So there might be a little difference there. Maybe a little more sugar would develop if it was pure sun. Hard to say. But overall, I love both berries. And again, maybe just a slight edge to Panka for flavor. Cado's great as well. So 2 great varieties coming out of the University of Arkansas.